Hello, my name is Gabriela Perez Baez. I'm an associate professor in the Department of Linguistics at the University of Oregon, and I am here to share with you our plans for a research experiences for undergraduate site entitled Increasing American Indian and Alaska Native Perspectives in Field and Experimental Linguistics. You will see, if I go back to this slide, you will see a QR code peppered throughout the presentation. And this QR code will take you directly to the REU site website, where we have all of the necessary information for anyone who wishes to apply. So what's an REU site, or a research experiences for undergraduate site? This is a research opportunity for undergraduate students, which is funded by the National Science Foundation, in which students participate in the program working closely with faculty on hands-on research. We see that linguistics and language science interfaces with so many disciplines, and it is therefore an ideal gateway to STEM, which is one of the motivations for building this REU site here at the Department of Linguistics at the University of Oregon. The program is designed specifically for American Indian and Alaska Native students to experience a culturally responsive introduction to STEM and higher education. Why the Department of Linguistics? We have a long-standing history partnering with Indigenous language communities to strengthen community capacity for the documentation, description, and revitalization of the languages, which is part of what we think we can contribute towards making the experience of students in this REU site culturally meaningful. We also, in the department, have a diverse breadth of expertise that ranges from field linguistics, experimental linguistics, and applied linguistics, and that reflects the cross-disciplinary potential of the discipline. Now, getting back to the topic of culturally responsive and meaningful programming, UO has a vibrant and growing community of Native American students, faculty, and staff. There is an organization around leadership of Native faculty, staff, and students called the Native Strategies that provides guidance and leadership to the university as a whole. Students are organized under the Native American Student Union, and there's also an additional group of students focused on the revitalization of Indigenous languages. UO is the institutional home of the Northwest Indian Language Institute, which for over 20 years has been committed to the revitalization of Native languages, and specifically the best practices in teaching of Native languages. The community comes around the Many Nations Longhouse, which you can see in these photographs, and which serves as a culturally centered meeting point for Native students, faculty, and staff, as well as allies. We built this REU site around 5 objectives. One is to increase participants' knowledge of linguistic theory and practice, but more broadly, we look for to expand participants' skills in scientific research methods through practical training. We also seek to expand participants' vision of the cross-disciplinary potential of the discipline of linguistics and of the broader impact potential of this discipline. And we also look to contribute towards raising the rate of participants' application to graduate school and or continued careers in STEM. And this is important. We're not looking to just funnel students into linguistics, but rather we're looking to use linguistics as a gateway, as I mentioned earlier, into STEM. And we're also not only looking to funnel students into graduate studies, we will provide, that is one avenue that we will make accessible to students, but we're also looking to support students who want to go into a career in STEM after college. And finally, we are looking to increase cultural competency at UO Linguistics in terms of recruitment and mentoring practices, in terms of course content development and delivery, and in terms of interaction with partners across the institution and outside. The activities of the REU site are built around 5 components. So let's take a look. We anticipate that participants will come to our program with varying backgrounds in terms of linguistic knowledge or in terms of knowledge of their heritage languages. So we don't expect and we don't require any prior knowledge. Instead, we will ensure that participants receive basic knowledge and training in linguistic research. Participants will attend morning coursework around the Linguistics 301 and Linguistics 302 courses that we teach here in linguistics, in the linguistics department. These will be non-course bearing courses, an important clarification I need to make. But with these 2 courses, students will walk away with a solid foundation about what linguistics is about. My apologies for that typo around in the word morning. We will offer academic development workshops Mondays through Thursday of each week. And in these workshops, we'll focus on things like academic writing, how to prepare for and apply to graduate school, tools to engage in research, academic writing and academic presentations, and how to write a professional email, how to ask for a letter of recommendation, that sort of stuff. We, again, since we're looking to offer a gateway into STEMs, each Friday we will include weekly professional development workshops specifically geared towards scientific careers. This will involve faculty from a range of disciplines that are connected to linguistics in one way or another, that will present a brief introduction to their field and how it relates to linguistics. And the most important and perhaps exciting aspect of the program as we see it is the mentored research experiences. So we will be dividing students into 2 cohorts so that they can spend 3 weeks in doing experimental linguistics and 3 weeks experiencing field linguistics and language documentation and revitalization. Let me talk a little bit more about that. So in terms of experimental linguistics, at the Department of Linguistics at UO, faculty members and students conduct research across several subfields, including language acquisition, both first and second language, morphological processing, speech perception and production, processing of variation, and so on. One sample project that I can describe would be through the Speech Perception and Production Lab, where, for instance, speech from native speakers is being analyzed because it is perceived differently than speech from non-native speakers of a specific language. And so the research looks at factors influencing how this perception differs, both cognitively and, cognitive factors and social factors, which to date have not been fully elucidated. So there's a lot of research still to be done. So REU participants would learn all aspects of the project, and while they might not be involved in the design of it or conducting the entire experiment, they will be conducting phases of the experiment, analyzing and processing data as well. So that was the experimental linguistics track. And students can also go into a language documentation analysis and revitalization track. At UO Linguistics, faculty and students engage in these activities through the language documentation and revitalization workshop, through the language revitalization lab, and through an association with the National Breath of Life Archival Institute for Indigenous Languages, which I co-direct along with Darryl Baldwin. So a sample project in this for this track would be that REU students would participate in the processing of archival materials that a partner community is using for language revitalization. So this would give students exposure to archival documentation, paleographic analysis, management of digital files, training in the use of the Indigenous Languages Digital Archive software suite, transcription and transliteration, and linguistic analysis. And just to clarify, students participate in the 2 tracks. They take 3 weeks in one track, 3 weeks in the other, so they're able to get this well-rounded experience in both tracks. At the end of the program, participants complete a 2-part capstone project. The first part is an individual poster presentation for members of the linguistics community at UO. And the second part is a group activity through which the cohort together will create a presentation for a general audience that they record, and they're able to share with families, with members of their communities, so that they can explain the basics of the research project and of research and what they have learned in this experience. Here's a sample of what the program might look like. So this is an 8-week program during the summer, starting June 6 and ending July 29. The first week is a remote week, and I know that we all cringe at the sight of the word remote or virtual, but the reason for this is that the University of Oregon is on a term system, and in order to fit 8 weeks between the time our term ends and the time the fall semester starts for students in a semester system, we need to make that first week remote. So this will be an introductory week through which students are doing virtual tours, getting registered for this and that, doing some basic initial readings and so on. And then from week 2 onwards, they are on site here at the University of Oregon campus in Eugene, Oregon, doing an hour and a half of classroom work in the morning, then 4 hours of research, and 2 hours of academic development workshops Monday through Thursday. And on Fridays, those 2 hours would be about careers in science. The last week, July 25th to 29, students would focus on preparing their final presentations for their capstone project. So here are some logistics on how to apply. Specifically, so we will be hosting 8 students for each of the 3 summers that we have funding for through the National Science Foundation. The program runs from 2022 summer to 2024. Students participate in a single summer. And again, for 2022, our first summer, the program runs from June 6th to July 29th. Students are fully funded to participate in this program. They receive travel funding up to $300. They receive sponsored housing for the 7 weeks of on-campus programming. So the REU side pays the housing directly, and the likelihood is that students will be living here on campus. Students also receive a $600 stipend for each of the 8 weeks of the program, so including the 1 week introductory remote program time. The REU site is for students who are US citizens or US permanent residents, students who identify as Native American or Alaska Native, or who have a family or cultural connection with American Indian or Alaska Native peoples. This is for students that will have completed at least their first year in college or community college and have at least 1 semester of undergraduate coursework remaining. And there is no minimum GPA requirement. To apply, we will ask for a statement of purpose, an unofficial university transcript, and 2 letters of recommendation. You would need, the applications are due by January 21st. The application is online through this QR code. The letters of recommendation are due a week later, January 30th, and applicants will be notified by February 28th. And if you have any questions, please visit our website. We have a contact us form. You can access again the website through this QR code, and I'm available to answer any questions. Thank you.